Hello, I'm Kathy Morris, pastor of the Dixon United Methodist Church. Welcome to the daily devotion for April 27th. Teresa of Lisieux lived a short but very influential life. She was born in 1873 and died in 1897 from tuberculosis. From an early age, she felt a calling to a religious life, and at the age of 15, she entered a Carmelite convent. Teresa was known as the Little Flower, and she has been a model of faithfulness for ordinary people in their daily lives. In his book, Prayer, the Heart's True Home, Richard Foster describes a form of prayer that Teresa of Lisieux developed. It is a prayer that is called the Little Way. In the little way, small actions, activities are prayer. Now this sounds simple until you hear the kinds of things that Teresa had in mind. A menial job. Welcome an unjust criticism. So not just welcoming criticism, but welcoming an unjust criticism. Befriending a difficult person. Helping those who are ungrateful. While these may have some benefit for others, the real power of the prayer is the way in which it frees us from self-absorption and self-centeredness. As we are released from the prison of selfishness, we experience greater joy and satisfaction. In our Bible reading today from the Gospel of Luke, chapter 12, verses 13 through 21, Jesus tells the parable of the rich fool. He is a wealthy landowner with a bumper crop. Rather than consider what it is that God would have him do with the abundance, he simply figures out how he can keep it all for himself. So let's listen to this passage, and I will be reading from the Common English Bible. Someone from the crowd said to him, "Teacher, tell my brother to divide the inheritance with me." Jesus said to him, "Man, who appointed me as judge or referee between you and your brother?" Then Jesus said to them, "Watch out. Guard yourself against all kinds of greed. After all, one's life isn't determined by one's possessions, even when someone is very wealthy." Then he told them a parable. A certain rich man's land produced a bountiful crop. He said to himself, "What will I do? I have no place to store my harvest." Then he thought, "Here's what I'll do. I'll tear down my barns and build bigger ones. That's where I'll store all my grain and goods. I'll say to myself, you have stored up plenty of goods, enough for several years. Take it easy, eat, drink, enjoy yourself." But God said to him, "Fool, tonight you will die. Now who will get the things you have prepared for yourself?" This is the way it will be for those who hoard things for themselves, but aren't rich toward God. Richard Carlson, in his commentary, says of the rich man, "He has made elaborate preparations to guarantee himself a comfortable, self-indulgent future, but has not prepared for his own impending mortality." We are living in a time with a lot of uncertainty. It is tempting to get caught up in meeting our own needs, hoarding stuff for ourselves. We can even tell ourselves that we are doing it in order to stay in compliance with the public health order. But now, more than ever, is a time for us to be rich toward God, to seek our security, our stability, our future in God. There are two things that the gospel writer Luke points out again and again that make us rich toward God. One is an active life of prayer, and the second is care and compassion for others. So for your prayer time today, pick some little thing that you can do for someone else. Make it something that serves the need of the other person, but something that serves the need of the other person in such a way that the Holy Spirit can work through it to free us from our own self-absorption. It is then that we can discover the rich abundance of God's blessing for us. This may sound simple, but it is not. And yet, through it we can discover the peace that comes when we truly trust God for our lives.